Well, the big challenge as Australia continues to decarbonise our energy supply at breakneck speed is to keep the lights on. We know that power prices will continue to increase sharply. The Albanese's government's first budget confirmed that. But the big question is, can we keep the lights on, or at least keep them on without so-called demand management, which is code for rationing, as reliable coal-fired power continues to exit the system? Any government minister saying that wind and solar are cheap are lying. Simple as that. You hear anyone say that renewables are cheap, and I want you to remember these three facts. First, there's the equipment needed to supply it. The solar panels and the big wind turbines, almost all of them made in China. So jobs and a profit in China, but not here. And when they reach the end of their life in about 20 years on average, they pose a real problem for the environment in their disposal. Second, once you generate renewable power, you've got to connect it to the grid, meaning billions and billions of dollars in transmission lines, even though the connections will only be needed 30% of the time, because that's about as often as renewables work. And third, this need for firming up baseload power, renewables power, because the sun doesn't always shine and the wind doesn't always blow. Now, don't worry, say the climate alarmists, there's now batteries. Sure, but even the biggest batteries can keep the system going for only about half an hour or less. So the desire for climate action is now running up against the need for reliable electricity, without which modern life is impossible. Today, the former head of the Energy Security Board, Kerry Schott, who's no climate sceptic, belled the cat, saying, and I quote, "I'm perplexed how you can run a system on renewables and batteries when you could have weeks of rain and can't recharge your batteries and wind droughts." She says that government has to stop demonising gas. Quote, "You have to have gas." Ministers, she says, have dropped the ball on firming capacity, that is, keeping the lights on 24/7, because it's become so non-politically correct to talk about gas. This is what Shott's told the Financial Review. Now, this is becoming really urgent because in just 4 weeks' time, the Liddell coal-fired power station in New South Wales will close. And Liddell is currently about 10% of the New South Wales power supply. And in just over 2 years' time, the giant Eraring power plant will close. That's 25% of New South Wales power. That's why the regulator is now warning that Victoria and New South Wales will face power shortfalls within 2 years. Yet the Narrabri gas field in New South Wales is no closer to starting after 10 years of procrastination by a state Liberal government. And the federal Labor government has just jeopardised all further gas development in this country by imposing price controls, even though we need gas, not just to power industry, but as the feedstock for many manufacturing processes, such as fertiliser, on which agriculture depends. And that's before we consider the money that resources bring in to our budget bottom line, such as the $2.7 billion in tax royalties that Woodside has just paid. I can't think of anything worse than basing the supply of an essential service on wishful thinking. That's what all levels of government and both sides of politics have been doing now for years, and that crunch is coming.